It's great to meet y'all guys. Y'all have been in the business for quite some time. So y'all are the go-to guys, I feel like, for bonkers of stunts and just doing it like with crazy imagination. This movie is filled with so many amazing scenes and so many fight scenes and car scenes and stuff like that. But I want to talk about one scene in particular. I kind of want you to walk me through it. Is that staircase scene and how that was able to be executed and how many, what was the process with getting that done so amazingly?
Well, that staircase scene when Chet comes up to you and says, "Okay, what we're gonna do? Have you ever seen the Montmartre stairs?" And then you see a picture of it and realize it's 300 and something stairs, and then it's like, "Okay, we're gonna send him up, and then he's gonna fall all the way down, and then we're gonna go back up." So, you're just like, "How do we do this?" The brilliant thing about Chad is he comes up with. You take something as simple as like on what was it, John Wick 3 or John Wick 2? We did that staircase. We did that fall. It's like
Italy.
yeah, in two, and then it's like, okay, we're gonna go bigger. We got to go bigger. So what's bigger than the Montmartre stairs? You got to take each piece at a time. Everything's a layer. So each section you break up into pieces, and then work out how you're gonna build on that action. We have two people on this one, and then we have three, or if we have a person hitting a tree and falling down, but you've got to look out for this, because there's the stairs. Each side of those stairs is slick rock because everything's at night, everything's wet down. So, trying to control all of that environment, you just got to layer it in piece by piece. And then you obviously have, hey, we're going to have him fall down. And our stunt double fell down every single one of those stairs multiple times. It was amazing, Scott.
Chad's if there was this thing, he is a stunt nerd. He really relishes taking things to the next level, whether it's the car hits or the stairs. Like you said, we did it I wasn't there, but on 2, they did it. And so in 3, I remember scouting in the middle of COVID, Chad and I were scouting these stairs, and we were walking up the stairs, and he's like, "Yeah, I want to go down every one of these stairs twice." And we're looking, and he goes, "Yeah, I want to bounce off that tree, and I want to do this." And that's him. That's the process of Chad going through and creating, because unlike a lot of other action movies where a writer writes the action, Chad goes to the location and figures out what can we do and lets the location tell him what the action's going to be. So he knows, I want to do a staircase, and then he finds these amazing stairs, and then we just walk the stairs. And Chad will go on his own sometimes and just sit there, and he just comes up with all these ideas, and then he just starts kind of spewing them out, and then Steve gets to make sure people don't all get shipped to the hospital on the way.
We built a replica, one level of the replica staircase they found a theater in Paris that wasn't being used, and we built an entire wooden replica of that staircase. So we did get to rehearse, how that action would be, how we were going to fall, what we needed to do to put in safety measures for everyone. So
Filming in Paris, there's a lot of amazing scenes. There's also the car scene. Working with Keanu, he wants to do a lot of stuff himself as much as he can, obviously. What type of enthusiasm does he bring to the set with all these stunts?
He likes cars. He owns a motorcycle company. He's a good driver. He's good on a motorcycle. So he's kind of a gear nerd himself. It's a different energy. Fighting is fighting. It's really physical. But, when we started training in the car, he'd get out of the car sweating. He's still, and he takes it very serious. And the thing about Keanu is he really likes to really hone in on the nuances of everything, whether it's jujitsu or driving a car, like where his hands got to be, and then what are you doing with your feet, and he kind of really gets into the nitty gritty, like with Tanner Fouts, who trained him to drive the car. Tanner's this amazing drifter and well known in the race community. And Keanu would be like, "Tanner, what are we doing? How much are we putting on this pedal and that pedal?" And that's really like, I think Keanu enjoys that aspect of getting into that. And then once he's refined that, then he can bring the character layered on top of that, technical skill. So I think Keanu enjoys that part of working on these types of movies.
What makes this franchise so different than others that y'all been a part of?
What makes it different? Chad. I mean, Chad makes a difference. John Wick is, I mean, Chad is such a cinephile in his dedication to film and his knowledge of film. He makes films that he wants to make. He makes fun films that are obviously action based, and his dedication to action, his knowledge of action. So, as a stunt performer, and as a person that's come through stunts, working on a John Wick film is kind of like the pinnacle of stunt films in terms of the action that Chad wants to do. Chad is so relentless too that his vision is his vision. You know, you got to give it your all working on these films, because he's not going to give up on what he wants. And you've got to come up. It makes you more creative, because, you know, you don't necessarily have the budget to do something. You've got to be more creative in what you want to do and how you want to do it to achieve his vision. So it makes you, you know, you're getting the best action, the best fights, and you're also having to be so creative in the way you do it. Go.
Yeah, and I mean, you combine Chad with Keanu, so you not only have this visionary director, you have this really hardworking, very talented performer, and you know they make John Wick. I tell people, Chad is actually John Wick. He just lets Keanu play him in the movies, because Chad has those skill sets. For the most part, he has all of those skill sets, and there once upon a time was when Chad would get hit by a car and would roll down steps and would do all those things. So Chad has actually done most of all of that.
Has there been a stunt that's been tabled just because it's too extreme or just doesn't fit in the movie at the time?
Maybe not fit in the movie at the time. Too extreme.
Or is it too grand?
No, I mean, it always has to fit Chad has you start at A and you got to get to Z. And if it's in a different alphabet, then it doesn't fit. But not too grand. I mean, that I don't think that exists, because you would always just figure it out. And that's the beauty of working on a John Wick movie, is everybody from the studio to the producers, everyone knows that this is what you're doing, whatever it takes to get there. And, we have to, and I'm very proud of the fact that Steve and I have navigated this with very minimal injuries, I take that very seriously. And how do you hit 25 people with a car and not send half of them to the hospital with concussions and other injuries? So, and Chad's that way too. He takes, he having once been a performer himself and a stuntman, a very good stuntman, he doesn't want to see anybody getting hurt. So we take a lot of the precautions, but you still have to perform and do these, crazy stunts. So it's the best of all the worlds for me.
And definitely, like you said, safety is priority. So it's very impressive that all this can be pulled off safely. So y'all are the best in the business. Y'all need to be teaching master classes on this. Appreciate y'all's time. And I'm looking forward to seeing what y'all work on next.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too.
All right. Thank y'all.
Thanks, man.